Welcome back to the Chosen Life podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan A. Cohen, author of the Bible 3.0, partner Kormans LP law firm. I try to do a bit of it all. And today, for 3 weeks now, we're going to have him in. We bought him kicking and screaming, but he has finally agreed to come on the show.
That's right.
Mr. Tech, Mr. Real Estate, brother and friend to me, Mr. Marco De Silva of Century 21, Leading Edge. Marco, welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Yes, I've gotten to know you over the past few years, so it's definitely a pleasure to be here.
So I've been doing my sleuthing. I've been discovering Marco De Silva online, looking at social medias before we came to talk. And I got to tell you, man, my mom would yell at you. You know why she'd yell at you? You have such a beautiful face. Why are you trying to hide it? You're posing like this and like this.
Yeah.
Marco, man, in
That's
person,
right.
man, there's the money shot. We gotta, I have this thing. I try to get the photographer in once a year to do the updated pictures. Yeah. And man, I see some pictures of you, man, maybe like 5 years ago. You look younger today than you do 5 years ago.
Well, thank you. And what's amazing? Like, even with me being so big on tech and everything, I admit I'm not out there a lot. I'm not out there on the websites. I'm not out there on social media as much. But yeah, I definitely got to make some changes.
We're going to get you on there. I'll tell you, first of all, there's the personal and professional Instagrams with the same picture, almost same account.
The same account,
but it is different.
I hardly ever use my social media. It's crazy. I'll delete the apps once in a while, but, kind of stay off it for a few years, and I'll check in.
Yeah. But in this day and age, one of the things I learned, how do clients vet me out?
Right.
One of the first things they say, oh, you got to work with Jonathan the lawyer. Jonathan's great. I know what they're doing, Marco. They're going on LinkedIn right away.
They're checking
the credentials, and then they're looking at the pictures, watching the videos, and saying, do I want to work with that guy?
Yeah.
I know you do. So they're like, oh, I'm comfortable with him. I watched him in an episode. He was so nice. Let me engage with him. So it's funny, in this day and age, and especially we're in the real estate world together, man, our videos and pictures are basically our business cards. They're our resume.
Yeah, and I am big on LinkedIn, though. That's the one form that I've been consistent on, and also organizes everything that I've done. Sometimes you forget, right? Because I've been in real estate for 25 years now, and I've been part of Century 21 Leading Edge, I think going on 6 years, but you kind of forget where you've been. So LinkedIn is sort of my hard copy of everything I've done, resume in life. So that I use. Yeah.
And it's funny because, I used to not be on LinkedIn many years ago, barely on there. And I was told LinkedIn is Facebook without a soul. That's possible. And then I realized the power of LinkedIn as far as the professional connections. When you've met my son Jeremiah over at Direct Nissan, selling new and used cars.
Yeah.
And when he was getting into car sales, I said to him, Jeremiah, I know you have TikTok, I know you have Instagram. LinkedIn is the place to be. He fought me, and then he started going on there. And all of a sudden, I turned around for 1 second, and he's got over 5,000 connections already. He picked.
I see him. I've connected with him. I remember he started, and it's fantastic. But you're right, because he's showing a story, real life of what he's doing there, right? So people connect 100%.
So real life stories. So they have a new general manager, managing partner who takes over a year after Jeremiah joined over there, as far as in sales. Jeremiah was there for 2 years, but he was 1 year into sales, and this new person comes in. He walks by everybody. The first person he notices was Jeremiah. He looks over at him. He goes, I know you. You're the guy with the crazy social media, Instagram posts.
Yeah.
So he knew right away who he was, even though they had never met before. And right away he said, you know what? I do crazy videos too, and they started connecting that way. So it's amazing. I found the same thing with clients.
Yeah.
It may not even be on the subject matter, they're in cars, we're in real estate, but I'll do something about my dog. For example, I post something on my dog, people get all excited about the dog. I have a dog too. We now connect about the dog. It's game over, Marco. Now we're dog friends, and it's over. It's amazing how you can bond on non-business stuff, but do business together.
No, and people want to see a person, a human being. Even when I talk to a lot of our agents, it's there's so much noise online, right? There's so much noise online. And I find that having that natural story, not selling, but connecting, because, sometimes we only have a few seconds to kind of build trust with somebody online. So they are looking for the human side of you. So I'm big on that. Yeah.
So we're going to talk a lot about this evolution, because it's funny how everything segues into everything, and I don't always mean it to be this way. but I want to bring you back for a moment now because I want to introduce everybody to Marco de Silva, again, Century 21 Leading Edge, fantastic real estate broker and great mentor in the industry to people. You worked with Treb. You are working with Treb. I want to scale it back for a moment. So we're about in the same vintage. I think I'm actually older than you. And also, I started in real estate a little bit before you. So 2001, I graduated law school. 2002, I'm called to the bar. You started real estate 2004, was it?
I think, yeah, it's about 25 years, if I do the math. I think it was about 25.
Yeah, and you know,
it's amazing the time frame, and it's changed because I still remember back then. I mean, I had the pager, even emails, right? I used to basically end my entire day, a busy day of dealing with clients and showing properties, offers, come home and turn on my computer, check my emails, and work for another 2 hours responding back to emails. So yeah, those were different times.
So I'm curious because you've given really most of your professional life to real estate, to this industry.
Absolutely.
And we're not talking just buying and selling homes. It's bringing up the new recruits and bringing them to be top producers, teaching them the ropes, hosting seminars, working with the industry through Treb. I got to ask you, man, like when you popped out of the womb and you were in kindergarten going into grade 1, did you always know that you were going to be in this industry? Was that your game plan?
No, actually, funny enough, I have 2 older brothers, and my oldest brother, he's about 12 years older than me, and he's the one that was in real estate back in the day. And he got me in. So right from the beginning, he sort of was my mentor, and I started out. He got out of the real estate industry, but I stayed in it. And then from there, my whole journey, like even, I'm no longer with Treb, but I was a board member with Treb. So I also helped, from the association side of things with OREA and all that. So it's been a great journey. So it's not just selling and buying, it's also managing here. I think I've now been, I think it's about 6 years I've been with Century 21 Leading Edge, and a great company. And so, I do a lot with the hiring, the training, marketing, tech. And so it's been a great journey, definitely.
I look at you, man, and you know what I see? It's like I'm looking in the mirror. I feel like I'm looking at a brother from a different mother.
That's right. That's it.
Because the question I was about to ask you, I kind of funny because we're all kind of thinking about when we hear someone's story, we can't help but reflect on our own story.
Of course.
And my question to you is going to be, real estate in itself is hard enough. And not just hard enough. In my opinion, I think what real estate agents, realtors do is the hardest job in the world. Why? They have to create something from nothing. Nobody generally is handing them leads. They got to find their own leads. They have to bring in their clients. They have to help them actually produce agreements, sign the agreements, close the transactions. Not an easy thing. For an average person that is not very good at human relationships, not strong communicator, it's a very hard job. Just to knock on someone's door, to cold call, to be in a line at Starbucks and make a conversation. Even to be at a party and say, hey, Jim, here's my other friend, John. And by the way, they're a realtor. I heard you're about to sell a house. Maybe you guys can connect. That is almost a semi-hot lead. Not everybody can deal with that. People freeze up. They're in a public setting and they're saying, I don't want to sell you. I feel bad. And so it's not an easy task.
No, and sometimes, like for instance, my close friends and even colleagues here that truly know me, like I'm an introvert. So it's not easy to open up and do that. I mean, I could do it.
You're doing a great job now, by the way.
There you go, great. I can play that, no problem, but it's not natural, right, for me to do that. And it is a world of networking. But it's amazing, though, when you have consumers out there, buyers and sellers, it's sort of connecting because there's other introverts out there, right? So it's a world of connecting. And I see that all the time. But yeah, you're right. We're all CEOs of our own company, and it's different ways of building your real estate business. And I'll tell you that, to me, I think what I sort of try especially when I interview an agent, whenever I interview an agent, I don't want it to be just a transfer. I want to change their business. And I can tell you probably the number one issue I see, is I look at, I love it when people have their goals. Come to me with your goals. You might write 80 to 100 different goals, but then they try to master too many things and become a master at nothing. And I'm telling you that success, especially even in real estate, is simplifying. not overthinking, not doing too much. So it's sort of mastering, and they've done studies after studies that the brain generally absorbs in 3s, maybe 4. So I always like to say, let's get those 3 to 4 focuses that you need to focus every week. What are those goals? And guess what? When you focus on that, everything comes into play. And that's where I really try to work with realtors is the process elimination. Let's avoid all the noise, the distractions, and let's just focus on what you need to grow. And now, if you look at sort of, let's just say 4 simple principles, because we're a database business, and it's how do you get people from cold to trust? That's the main focus, because they're not going to trust you. So by getting the 4 top goals is like, for instance, how many people are you going to add every week to your database? How many are you going to contact from your existing database? Spending a certain amount of hours every week on marketing, and spending a certain amount of hours on your skill sets. 4 goals that can ultimately start converting to more kitchen appointments. More kitchen appointments are going to actually convert to more contracts. More contracts are going to convert to more sales. More sales are going to convert to more money. More money is going to convert to more freedom. And now all of a sudden, everything that you've reached, that goal starts to come true. So I find that agents are really striving for a work-life balance is the honest truth of what they need. So yeah, a lot of times it's simplifying success. Yeah.
I got 2 questions on the tip of my tongue.
Sure.
I'm going to go one by one.
Bring it on.
My friend, you're the most extroverted introvert that I have ever met.
I play it right, yeah.
Do you still consider yourself an introvert?
Yes. And let me sort of, it's funny because when I really understood the definition of being an introvert versus an extrovert, so it's so different. It's where you get your energy from when I really understood it. So I could be with somebody who's an extrovert, and that person needs to get their energy from other sources beside themselves. It doesn't mean that they can't do introverted activities. Me, it's different. For me to feel energized at the end of the day, I sort of need that solitude. I got to be on my own, and I get my energy from my sort of small moments in life. And so once I'm charged, it doesn't mean I can't do extroverted things. So people can sort of play both, but you may not be fully charged, and I think that's where I resonate with. I like my moments, I love my walks, and I don't need the big social media stuff, but can I do it? Sure. And I've done talks and everything, right? So very comfortable with it, but it's not really where I get my energy, my sources. Okay. Yeah.
That's number 1. Number 2 is coming, and now there's a number 3 that's popped up in the head already.
Got it.
Okay, number 2. We talked about the role of a realtor and coming into the business and growing your business and the challenges from importance of human relationships, communication. Mm-hmm. You've been in the industry now for over 20 years. You've taken those challenges, you've thrived with it, clearly. Let me ask you then, because again, this is one of those questions I'd ask myself. It could have just been a realtor, bought and sold properties with clients, lived in existence. You're doing that, then you're mentoring other people, then you're running a brokerage, then you're also working with Treb and helping the industry. Why put all those things on your shoulders? Why take all that stress? Why take all those roles? Why not keep it simple? Why were you driven to go in those directions?
You know, it's a natural connection. And if I were to think about just overall, as we get older, we start to see life differently, right? And I'm living a simpler life, you know, in my everyday life. And to me, helping others is part of that. So I see myself where, I'll give you an example. I'm pretty good at training, but I never liked it. It took me a few years, and now I'm passionate about teaching and training realtors. I mean, going from being good at it to being passionate about it is a different journey. And I started to see that. So, the sales aspect, I love that journey. But to me now, just training, mentoring, we have an amazing team here, a management team, and even Paul Barron, who owns the brokerage with partners, also Tassis and Anthony, great leadership here. But they've also allowed me to really open up and do what I'm good at. And so, yeah, it's been a journey. So I love helping other realtors. And also the other side, we don't want them making the same mistakes we did. Nothing makes me happier than that, right? So yeah, seeing them get their awards and focus where they need to be, I can't explain it. It's a different feel.
I know that feeling well, where you're talking about working with a young realtor. I could see myself working with a young lawyer, young clerk, and they present an issue. And I've seen this issue before, and I've made a mistake with that issue, and I learned from that mistake. And now I see the roads to go, and I present those roads. And sometimes they say, no, I still think we have to do it this way. And you can see like the accident's gonna happen a mile away, and you're like, don't take that road. Right. It's gonna guaranteed cause you an accident. You don't want to be in an accident, Sometimes people are stubborn. They have to see it, whether it's our kids, whether it's our employees, whether it's our colleagues. And sometimes they can come back and say, you know what, I thought about it and I took your advice. I ended up not going down that road, and thank you for saving me. That's a great feeling, isn't it?
It's amazing when you talk about that. I see this. You know how sometimes when we're meeting with realtors, they're also interviewing brokerages, and sometimes they come with a list of what they want. But think about that for some. Let's just say they've been in the industry for 5, 10, 15 years, and they haven't been succeeding, and they keep bringing that list to every interview and every brokerage change. Sometimes success is something we don't know. And by kind of give that list and going, here's what I want. And that's where I try to sort of turn sort of that mind frame and sort of do a 180 and try to bring something to the table that they haven't been doing. And again, it goes down to simplifying. And I can say, if you look at the average age, and I haven't looked it up, but I'm pretty confident, and the states are pretty similar. Probably about 50% of realtors are over 50 now. And it's a different soul. It's a different person, a different mind. And I'm telling you that a lot of them want to sort of find out how to succeed the smart way. They value their lives, their family, their time, their vacationing. So working smarter and keeping things simple, the success. So quite often, you should be approaching a brokerage saying, hey, I know what I want, but tell me what I need to succeed. And it's a different tone.
I've told many people that have come to me because I believe I've mastered the art of the interview, being the interviewer or interviewee.
You're natural at it. You do it all the time. You got good at it. It's great.
It's a practice. I've read a lot of books on the subject matter, and I can say this much. I can say this from experience to anybody listening right now, no matter what your profession is, no matter what the role is. I come in, I could be the biggest newbie on the planet. When I come in to the job interview, I have one mentality. I'm coming in with this mindset. I learn everything there is about the company. I know the person interviewing me. I know their history. So I come in presenting them, I know who you are. Here's what you've accomplished. Here's why you're great. Then here's who I am. Here's what I have to offer. And this is why we're a good fit. And this is why I need to be here. Very simple. Not complicated.
No, it's not.
And the other thing is, a lot of people sound great on paper. Some people sound great in writing. I learned about the concept of the working interview. I presented to employers in the past, before there was such a thing as a working interview, saying to them, look, very simple. It's Friday today. I will come on Monday. I'll come Tuesday. I'll come all week. Don't even pay me. Let me work. Throw some stuff at me. See how you like me. If you don't like me, send me home at lunchtime. I don't care. But I'm hungry. I'm ready to go. I'll go right now. I'll take off my jacket. I'll grab a pen. I'll go. Who doesn't want to work with somebody that's ready to go versus someone, oh, by the way, I have a vacation already booked, so I can't start for 3 weeks, and I can work for 2 weeks, but then I have another vacation booked, and yeah, maybe I just don't start for 2 months. Eventually it's like, just don't come at all.
Yep, of course. No, yeah. You got to be driven. And that's one thing where consistency, I remember this realtor, I don't even remember his name, but it was amazing. It was fascinating. We were at some kind of, this must have been like 10 years ago, some kind of a conference. And this agent was selling consistently over 100 plus homes a year. Anyways, I remember taking a look at his flyers. And, God bless them, but it's got to have been like, it would have, like when I looked at it, it had a frog on it. It was like the ugliest flyer ever, but he was consistent at it. He just kept going. He never gave up. He worked hard. He contacted the community, knocked on doors, and he laughed about it himself. He admitted his flyers were ugly, but after a while, the consistency, he was passionate, and he succeeded.
Even one of the worst strategies, if done consistently over time, it will go. I mean, how many times have we seen the worst billboard ever? We've heard the worst radio ad, but it sticks it grains in us. A friend of mine even told me, think about it. Think of some of the songs you hate the most, and you're like, I want to change the channel the second I hear this.
You can't get rid of them, right?
10 years later, you're sticking yourself to it. Marketing.
Yeah.
Marketing works. Marco, you know what? I've been enjoying this so much with you, and I'm sure everybody else is, that, you know what? We are fresh out of time.
All right.
I didn't even get to question number 3, so I'm just going to have to save it for next week, if that's all right with you.
That's great, my friend. But it's been a pleasure, though.
It's amazing because we just grazed the tip of the iceberg. Wait till we get to Marco, and we're going to talk about, for a couple weeks now, one of our favorite topics, technology.
I like it.
And I'll give a sneak peek. We're going to talk about a non-smartphone.
Great.
That'll be next week. See you back soon on the Golden Light Podcast.